Let me set the scene. The 5th of April 2009, Luton Town versus Scunthorpe United. The Football League Trophy final at Wembley. The same season that Luton Town were given a minus 30 point deduction. Scunthorpe were on the up. Luton Town went on to win that game 3-2. And Luton Town went on to get relegated in the Conference Premier. At the same time, Scunthorpe United, in that same season, went on to the playoffs and met at Wembley again against Millwall, beating them 3-2. After this year, Luton were in the Conference Premier and in dire straits, while Scunthorpe United were playing in the Championship for only their 3rd promotion to the 2nd Division in their entire history. Now we fast forward 14 years later, where Luton Town are now playing in the Premier League and living a dream of every single English football club in the country, whereas Scunthorpe United, fair to say, the last 6 years could not have got any worse. Scunthorpe United are nearly dead, and this is why. First things first, comment down below your thoughts on Scunthorpe United, or really just any team in the kind of lower EFL pyramid, as sadly I do believe that Scunthorpe, similar to a Bury or currently as a Southend United, will not be the last, and will be many times that we're going to be seeing teams going through a bit of a tough time and potentially experiencing being a stint from football. I would like to shout out to a man called John, who emailed me in the middle of September, who gave me a long email going in depth into the current situation at Scunthorpe United. He emailed me on regards of doing a video on his club, who are in dire straits, at risk of no longer existing, and seriously needs more attention onto them. Now, of course, I am simply just a YouTuber, and what I say will not make too much of a difference in the grand scheme of things, but I can understand why it would be incredibly frustrating to have what to you is your world, your football club, your community fall apart, and no one seems to know or care. And I can completely understand the frustration that Scunthorpe fans, or any fans in the lower half of the pyramid experiencing similar financial issues, would be experiencing. So yeah, like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Since 2018, Scunthorpe United have plummeted down the pyramid and now find themselves in not only the National League, but the National League North, the 6th division in English football. Their former owner, Peter Swan, ran out of money or the willpower to fund the club, and in January of this year they faced oblivion. At this stage, when the club was seemingly no longer existing, the media only then picked up their situation and found a new buyer called David Hilton. At the time, they seemingly saved the club. Interest from the media instantly faded away, and many assumed that everything has since been an improvement. Everything seemed that way at first, with statements that the debts had been paid and the ground had been bought. Things quickly turned out, however, that it became clear that there was a disagreement between Hilton and Swan, their former owner, and the new owner over their ground deal. And that is the big talking point here, that their stadium in Glanford Park is no longer owned by Scunthorpe United, and that alone is a key problem, as if you do not own your own stadium, then what happens to your stadium is simply out of your control. And the situation is that as of the 7th of October, they are kicked out of their own stadium because they simply don't own it. They can no longer play there, and will have to play 30 minutes down the road in a place called Gainsborough, meaning that their fans no longer have a club in their own town. And even this is in dispute, as Scunthorpe put out a club statement saying that they will be playing at Gainsborough Stadium, the North home. However, Gainsborough has came out publicly saying that this was issued without their knowledge or consent. The issue is that the Glanford Park owner, which is their previous owner in Peter Swan, wants a certain price, And if the owner of Scunthorpe is not willing to pay for it and agree to a deal, then tough luck. So as of right now, in 4 days time to this video being uploaded, Scunthorpe are homeless. But it gets worse, as their current owner in David Hilton has put out a statement as of a few days ago, last Thursday, that he has completely withdrawn his funding to the club. And who is David Hilton? Well, no one knows, as that is not even his name. Let's get into that part. Quite a lot of speculation has arrived over their new owner David Hilton, and some negative ones and concerning ones at that. Fair to say that their current owner has had a pretty sketchy past involving fraudulence. There was also speculation that David Hilton, who had accusations of going to prison, he simply denied that too, as it came out that his last name was not indeed Hilton, but White. His name was David White, but changed his name due to personal reasons. Some truth came out that he went to prison for fraud, and has gone by 4 different aliases, in David White, David Anderson, David Mellows, and David Hilton. But if you have gone down under 4 different names in the past, then you have got to be hiding some dodgy things. Hilton, of course, came out saying that he did serve time in prison and contradicted everything that he said previously. However, he came out saying that he suffered from depression and deserved a second chance. However, simply due to the fact he lied in the first place, people thought about what else has he also lied about. Former players like George Taft, who came out and questioned about unpaid wages and pension contributions from his time at the club. So what's happening now? Scunthorpe United were in the Championship and were already seen as the underdogs at that level, and now playing in the National League North, which seemingly are not doing too bad on the pitch. As it stands, currently sat in 4th place, and the players and the fans seemingly have come together even stronger than ever, with fans and the community coming together even more to help save their football club. And the players have been understood to receive that message from the fans too, knowing that they are not alone and that it's not their fault. But as it stands, they have no money, no home, on the brink of collapse, and as of right now, simply no hope. Their bills have gone unpaid for the last couple of weeks and months. Their fans, many, have been going home and away for years and decades, are now being banned from games due to criticising the ownership on social media. You may have seen this online a bit. However, this is fully true, that if you criticise a club online, you therefore are rightfully banned in the eyes of the owners. On the 28th of September, one of the most bleakest club statements I've ever seen came out from the club's social media team. The walls are caving in at Scunthorpe United. The statement said the following: the club owner and chairman has recently notified the board of directors that his decision to withdraw his funding from the club moving forward. He has also notified them that he feels his position at the club is untenable and is actively seeking a way out. It went on further to disclose that falls in attendances will undoubtedly mean further cuts, and this will inevitably impact the playing squad and promotion aims. Scunthorpe United are currently seeking immediate and urgent funding. There is no guarantees that this funding will come. The club statement even disclosed that there were no potential investors willing to save Scunthorpe. This weekend, Scunthorpe is ready to play Brackley Town at their current ground, Glanford Park, the club's home since 1988. Redundancies at the club have also followed, with the numbers of many of the staffing members being stripped back. Scunthorpe club officers are all housed at the stadium in Glanford Park, as is the first team training site, and it remains unclear that this would even be available or open to use after October 7th. Their current, or I guess will be soon their former owner in David White, or Hilton, or whatever you want to call him, gave some insight into the situation of why he stopped his funding. This was on Facebook, where he responded back to a fan online. He said the following: "I've said I'll carry on working hard, but won't give that club my children's inheritance, knowing my days there are numbered. I can always leave the keys under the mat for you if you like, and your club will be gone in a week." And that is what he's done. I mean, imagine that. Imagine this happening to your club. This man has thrown Scunthorpe United into a fire. They have no owner now with no funding, therefore no wages. They have no stadium, they have no academy, they have no officers, they have nothing. In a season that on the pitch has been giving the Scunthorpe fans hope, being 4th place in the National League North and currently set to be likely in the playoffs, everything is falling apart around them off the pitch. A serious investigation was found on Hilton. He pled guilty to 15 counts of fraud by false representation. It looks like the end game is here. He was lauded as the saviour of the club, and it's so crazy to think how fast this has all just got even worse. I mean, there was some hope at first. Hilton's plan of building a new stadium on the outskirts of Scunthorpe, a project that he said would be set in place in the 2025-26 season. This is now seemingly over, as is the existence of the club's academy, which was wound up before this campaign. On top of that, they banned at least 3 supporters via email, so this is where Scunthorpe finally sit. By the 7th of October, they will simply have no home. Any hope of any takeover would involve some rather large financial commitment, including the fact that Scunthorpe still owe 1.4 million to the EFL from a COVID-19 loan taken out back in 2020, including other debts and liabilities that could also add on an extra million. On top of that, also include buying out the stadium at the same time, which involves the training facilities and also officers. Scunthorpe needs a investor, a new owner that is fit and proper and passionate, which is hard to find nowadays, and willing to put 3, 4, 5 million into a team which seems to make no money. So why would anyone do that? For example, the previous owner in Peter Swan, who left the club earlier in the year, confirmed that he lost about 20 million over his time at the club in around an 8-year time span. So why would anyone take the risk? And that is a sad reality of owning a football club. We are seeing the next Bury in front of our very own eyes. I did a video 6-7 months ago about Southend, who are going through many difficulties. However, this one feels like a step further, and with the official statement of a cut of their funding, it does appear that the club's descent still can get deeper. The man that bought the club for £3, I mean, in no world should ever pass a fit and proper owner's test, but yet he did. And due to how desperate Scunthorpe was at the time, due to the previous ownership of Swan, caused this situation to happen in the first place. If you're a Scunthorpe fan, I'm sorry. And it must feel, on a sort of selfish level, it must feel even more frustrating and, dare I say, infuriating that you see the amount of money spent in the Premier League, the money spent by all the clubs in Premier League, but you look at the likes of Chelsea and how much they spent in one window, and just to know that $1 million, $2 million can save your entire football club. The complete disparity of the divisions is just insanity. One owner, one stakeholder, one anything to save a football club and to save a community. 2 million, of course, is a lot of money, but when it comes to footballers, and especially Premier League football, that seems like pennies now. So, yeah, it's gotta hurt, and I'm sorry about that. Tell me your thoughts down below. Tell me your thoughts about where football is going, especially for the lower half, because the price of being in the Championship or in the Premier League, the price is so high that some clubs spend all they can to get there, and if it fails, then it will cost them. And we've seen this time and time again of clubs spending too much than what they really should do to get to the promised land and fail and start falling down the pyramid. And with owners at this level, some are simply not fit to run a football club, but yet get past. If it's Bury, if it's Bolton, if it's Macclesfield Town, if it's Oldham, if it's Coventry City, if it's Southend United, they will always be another team in crisis. And it won't end until something is put in place. I don't know what that thing is. I'm not a genius. I'm not the man to make that decision. But someone is. And I hope that gets done soon. Thank you for being here. I know that this video will make no impact in Scunthorpe United at all in terms of getting them out of the situation. But thanks to John for emailing me and telling me his story and his club story. At least this will at least help them feel like they're not alone. And if that means anything, then it's that. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for the love on the channel. I can't thank you enough. So, I'll see you next time. Best of luck.